In this video, Bob and I discuss changes to existing game activities. We discuss current and new in-game events. Bob goes over the reason why mobile and Facebook are different and why they are the same. And we discuss the new hero and the new tribe system that they're going to be implementing. Quick reminder, if this is the first time you are finding me, I do live stream Monday through Friday. The time's going to be shown now. I do plan to live stream here in a couple hours, so I hope to see you there.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Are we going to see any updates, changes to any of the other activities?
And that's the thing, like we would love to hear your suggestions about how Guild Wars in general could be reworked. Not necessarily like from the ground, right? We are talking any types of changes. People from the guild who are not champions, something to do. Because right now they only can contribute as someone who brings the activity to the guild and the Titanite to the guild, while champions do the actual fighting in the Guild Wars. And we were thinking that it would be rather more interesting to first add something to do for those players, right? And then maybe take that and follow it to the cross-server wars. Yeah, and so this is why we are thinking that all the possible type of reworks of Guild Wars should precede the actual, cross-server wars that we have on mobile right now.
So aside from, with adventures and Guild Wars kind of out of the way, what can you tell me about any other possible quality of life things, maybe having to do with the dungeon or with, I don't know, Grand Arena or Tower or anything that might be coming down the pipe in the next 6 to 9 months?
When it comes to those very, very like old and pretty much figured out game modes like Arena, Grand Arena, and Tower, we don't really have any new things planned in the upcoming, I would say, several months, because the way the planning is working out is that our developers have some big things, some grand things planned. They can be planned for a pretty distant time starting this point. But sure. In the between, you have to remember that we have to constantly put out the content to keep the game going, right? The content that you already know. And despite the fact that the events are rotating in and out, and they're the same events sometimes, it actually doesn't mean that there's no work behind making that happen, because each time is actually work. And then there's going to be Halloween event. We're going to have the Winterfest event. And in the meantime, I don't think that anything was going to happen to the game modes that you just mentioned.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
So we're about 2/3, maybe about halfway through the questions that I wanted to ask you, and you've been talking quite a bit. How about we give some stuff away real quick?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
My chat. Okay, there we go. All right, we're back.
Okay.
Before we took that quick break, you briefly touched on the Halloween event and the Winterfest event, and kind of a two-part question. First, can we expect a variation of that event, or is it going to be the same? And do you have other events that you're planning on updating in the future as well?
Yeah, so about the Halloween and Winterfest event, they are going to be, in their essence, they're going to be the same we had the last year.
Okay.
The reason for it, but obviously we're going to have new stuff in terms of new skins for both of those events, so that's going to be new, naturally. And the reason for us not changing things up are the following. Like, we have two main reasons. Like, first of all, we think it's pretty good for people to know what to expect when it comes to huge events like that, because for example, like on Winterfest, you will be able to unlock winter skins, and you know that for sure. Like, that's the thing,
Yeah.
If you played for some time even before that, and you looked at Kira, for example, or at maybe Martha, and you see those Winterfest skins, and it says, it can only be unlocked during Winterfest, you know that you will be able to do that. We like that part. But not only that, it's also that we are, I'm going to go for a little bit into the technical mumbo jumbo here. We are changing up a bit the internal processes of how we program things. Our programmers have to switch languages right now for the reason that we need to be more efficient in preparing the JS version of the game. So JS version is a version of the game that is different from the Flash version of the game. Both are available right now. They are not different. It's just the way the games are written, right? But as we all know, all the browsers are pretty much discarding Flash by the end of the year. We already have a version of the game that most people use without even knowing, which is not Flash. But we need to, it's sort of like a bit like this whole Unity situation on mobile. It's a bit like that. So that's one of the reasons that the development process is not going to change things up too much for the big events, for the closest two big events, at least, we're going to happen, which are Halloween and Winterfest. But not only that, but we are also between those events, or as a part of one of those, not sure yet, we're actually going to have a new hero coming, and that hero, does not. Yeah, to my knowledge, that hero does not have what do you call it? I don't know, an image yet. Some developers have the very general ideas of what this hero is supposed to do, but we don't really have any concept art yet. We don't really have a story for that hero, so to speak. And that hero will probably not be the same one that mobile version is going to have. They're probably going to have.
Oh, don't do that to me.
A different hero. But in time, the thing is, in time, both versions are going to have both of those heroes. We're going to sync on that. But the reason we can't really put out the same heroes at the same time is because everything that comes before releasing a new hero is different for different versions of the game.
True.
Mobile, they have their processes. For browser version, we have our processes, and it's absolutely impossible to release the same heroes at the same time, as much as we sometimes would love to do that, because that would get rid of many instances of confusion as to why is this hero on this version but not on that version. And also that would mean that we could make this really grand teaser, and it's only going to happen once, not twice, like for example with Corvus and Morgan, like it happened pretty recently. We would like to have it at the same time, for both versions. It's really something really big, and a surprise for everyone involved. Because when that happened for the browser version, the hype was not as high maybe as it was for mobile, because many players already know from the mobile version about the Undead Heroes, right? Yeah. So we had to think about, how are we even going to present it? Because people basically know by now.
Yeah, I can see that. So you're telling me that, and you might not be able to answer this. You're telling me that the differences in hero deployment between mobile and the browser has to do with the technical side. It doesn't have something to do with I don't know, some marketing schedule or marketing rollout. Nothing like that.
Not at all. It's solely about what precedes the launch.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's the only reason why we don't really have the sync. But it's not it's very relatively related, but still we want people to know that those are different versions, right? That's not why we do things separately. It's the other way around. The versions are different because they are. It's not that we make them different on purpose. We have different development teams. Those teams have different visions about how to run the game.
Right.
We obviously exchange ideas all the time because we have many things in common. We have many similarities. And for those who don't really play Hero Wars all the time, those similarities might be blurred. But we want to make an accent that those are different games, really different games. That's why I sometimes struggle with answering mobile-related questions. Not because I want to hide something from you, but because if, for example, Phil was on my place right now instead of me, he would be able to answer much better, in more detail than I could. So
sure, okay. So with this new hero, by the way, thank you for dropping that on my community. I'll be talking about that quite a bit over the next week. We'll have a lot of fun working through what that new hero could be. So with the new hero coming before Halloween, is it going to be an undead hero?
That's the thing. I'm not sure that it's coming before Halloween. I'm sure that it's coming either in between Halloween and Winterfest or at the same time with those things. So the scheduling is basically vague. It goes from the end of October right to basically the end of December.
Sure.
That's how it goes right now. So I'm not really sure if it's going to be, an undead hero or not an undead hero. But when it comes to traits, we actually have this question as well. I think that's actually the great time to maybe talk about talk about the undead stuff.
Sure.
So your question basically was like more undead heroes, right? Is it possible? Is it going to happen and stuff like that?
I should have typed the questions out a little bit more. I basically copy and pasted my notes from my live stream into our chat, so I probably should have.
It's actually fine because those are basically more topics than actual questions, so we could elaborate more in more depths. So it's totally fine. So yeah, about undead heroes. So that's a big maybe because we love the idea of traits, and by traits I mean someone being, for example, undead. Right now we have it as a role. It's a part of a role, but we really like the idea of making, tribes of heroes in the sense that we have Corvus and Morgan as undead, right? And you can come up with pretty much different traits, like, for example, elves, right?
There are a lot of elves.
From the top
I was about to save that. There are a lot of elves.
Yeah, from the top of my head. A lot of elves, like, Darkstar is an elf, definitely. Helios is probably an elf, and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that that's the next trait we're going for, but we like the idea of having several traits, and one of them being undead. But that is very underdeveloped idea right now at the moment.
Okay.
What we know for sure is that we do want to someday go that way, which would mean that not only we would have more traits if we would go that way, but also that there are probably going to be more undeads in this scenario. But we'll have to see if that is going to happen at all. But we do like it. We really like the idea.
Somebody said that my dog is an elf. My dog is not an elf.
Yeah, it's a dog. I'm pretty sure it's a dog.
Yeah, it's definitely a dog. Okay, so very cool. So potentially we'll adding new tribes in the future. I like the sound of that. Maybe adding more undead tags or undead roles, I should say, to maybe to some existing heroes that make sense. Not Dorian. Yeah. Dorian is not a vampire.
He's not dead.
Dorian is a human.
He's not dead.
Dorian is human. I think he's human. Actually, I'm not sure. Is he human or is he an elf? Or
I think he's human. I believe I saw his ears. That might not be something that happened. Maybe I'm imagining things, but I think he's human. And he's not dead. That's the thing. Like if it comes to what makes sense, I know that there are some heroes that look undead, but again, it's a gameplay feature, not story feature.
We've had numerous live stream discussions about this, and the hero Phobos he's a demon, I believe, and the question that I get asked a ton is why isn't Lilith undead? Because Lilith is a demon also, and so it's just like, obviously the mobile team took some, like you said, liberties with the story to make it work. Probably to bring up some underused heroes like Phobos.
Yes, exactly.
That makes sense, but still, it's an exciting thing to think about. And personally, I love the direction that you guys are taking. I think utilizing old heroes in a way that maybe just tweaking them a little bit by adding them to a tribe could see a huge increase in the number of people that use Judge or Mojo or Phobos, for example, instead of seeing Twins and Kark teams and Kira teams and Yasmin teams a lot. There's a lot of Yasmin teams now, and Aurora. Goodness, if you answer nothing else today, I need to know how to beat a fully tricked out Aurora with Kayn, because people are quitting the game. People are quitting Facebook over this one hero and pet combination.
It hasn't come to my personal attention that this is a new thing, right? Because everyone likes to talk about Kark.
Yeah.
Still. Even though I think we both know that it's not really, it's not undefeatable at all.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
I'm not really sure what to do with Aurora. I mean, because she's kind of good both against mages and now with dodge against physical damage teams.
I would say that she's the best hero in the game right now. I would say that she's the absolute, and I don't say this, my tier list discussions, I don't talk about power level. I don't talk about best hero. I don't talk about best teams, but I think that Aurora on Facebook and browser versions is the best hero in the game right now. With the dodge energy change, I think that needs to be tweaked a little bit.
Okay, that's interesting. Because it's not really a thing yet on Russian version of the game, I believe. Because no one's really, to my attention, no one's really talking about how good it is right now.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look at it. Definitely.
I'll share a team with you offline after this. There's an Aurora team that, to my knowledge, has never been beaten on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a pretty interesting case. I'll definitely look into it.
I would love to hear you guys throw your best teams at it. With the problem is nobody has max pets to test
Of
against
course.
it. So
Of course.
this individual has maxed pets, maxed heroes, and as far as I know, nobody's beat it. And I chat with the individual about once every 2 weeks or so, and according to him, it's never been beaten. But yeah, I would love to get your take on that.
Yeah, sure. Now you probably do understand that a lot of that goes for the fact that he's maxed out as well.
Oh,
So
sure. Yeah,
a
absolutely.
lot of things, yeah, come out from the fact like what kind of teams really attack him, because yeah, I mean, having your team maxed out goes a long way.
Well, this is on a single digit server. It's a very old server.
Oh, so yeah, he must have some competition, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll look it up, definitely.
Yeah, I would love to hear about that. In fact, there's a number of people in my chat right now that have quit playing Facebook because of Aurora. So
I see. Wow, that's tough.
they still play Herowarsmobile. Most of my community plays both platforms.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. A vocal minority of my community. There's a lot of people that talk a lot in my community that I count on for, bouncing ideas off of and everything that play both platforms. I should say that.